Okay, so get this. We're diving into a Bollywood comedy, and it's causing a stir, and it hasn't even hit the screens yet.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Vicky Vidya Kawalala video, which, translates to that video of Vicky and Vidya.
Okay.
Comes out tomorrow. And I gotta say, with a title like that, it's got everyone talking already.
Yeah.
So is it gonna be your typical slapstick, laugh a minute kind of thing?
Right.
Or are we in for something a bit more, thought-provoking? Let's find out.
Yeah, I think what's really interesting here is you have this like almost outlandish premise.
Right?
Newlywed couple, their private video gets stolen. But it really like taps into, I think, some anxieties that we all have in this digital age
Totally.
about privacy. Like that fear we have when we hit send on a text message too quickly.
Oh, yeah.
But this is like that, like amplified to, a Bollywood scale.
Totally. It's that, oh, did I just accidentally share that with everyone? But like times 1,000.
Yeah, exactly. And that's, I think, where the potential for like some really sharp social commentary comes in.
Yeah.
Because, Bollywood has this way of like weaving these serious issues into these really fun comedic narratives,
Right.
making us laugh, but also like holding up a mirror to society a little bit.
Exactly.
I mean, you think about films like Toilet, Ik Prem Katha. Who knew a movie about sanitation could be so funny, but also spark some really important conversations?
Right, right. Okay, so let's actually unpack this basic plot of Vicky Vidya. So the synopsis we have, it really kind of focuses on the mayhem, right? Like after this stolen video starts making the rounds.
Yeah, yeah.
But like before we get to the chaos, we got to meet the people at the heart of it, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
And this is where it gets interesting.
It does. So who we're going to see?
Yeah.
Who are the masterminds behind this cinematic gamble?
All right, so playing Vicky, we have Rajkumar Rao. And I mean, you probably recognize him from his incredible performance in Newton. And then for Vidya, we have the super talented Dripti Dimri. I mean, she just blew us away in Bulbul.
Oh, wow. Yeah, they're both, known for their range, right?
Yes.
And especially Rao, he can move between drama and comedy so effortlessly.
Totally.
I mean, his comedic timing in Barali Ki Barfi was just, like, perfect.
Oh, for sure.
So having actors who can really handle both the humor, but also maybe the emotional weight of a story like this.
Right.
Really, really crucial.
Crucial, absolutely. And it looks like they're going to have some great comedic backup because the cast also includes Malika Sherawat and Archana Puran Singh.
Oh, wow.
I know, right? I mean, just even hearing their names, I'm already picturing some really great, like, scene-stealing performances.
Like, for sure. Those names just scream, like, those classic, like, side-splitting, supporting characters that Bollywood comedies are known for.
Totally.
Like, get ready to laugh. We're not holding back. And speaking of not holding back, the director, Raj Shandilia, is known for, pushing some boundaries of this humor as well.
Wait, is this the same director who did Dreamgirl?
Yes.
Oh, my gosh. Okay, that movie had me dying.
Yeah. I mean, he just has this knack for finding humor in the most unexpected places.
Totally.
And his films often walk that line between, like, outrageous and insightful.
Yes.
So I'm really curious to see what kind of comedic lens he's going to bring to a premise as delicate and potentially explosive as this.
I know. And, speaking of pushing boundaries,
Yeah.
one little detail from the TMDB page really jumped out at me.
Oh, really?
The keyword section straight up says sex tape.
Oh,
That's not something you see every day, especially with a Bollywood comedy.
No, not at all. That's a really interesting choice. And it definitely brings up questions about how they're going to handle it.
I know, right.
Especially given that Indian cinema has its own, cultural sensitivities. It's like, how do you push boundaries without potentially alienating your audience?
Yeah, how do you strike that balance?
Well, I think this is where understanding those Indian film certifications becomes really important.
Right.
I don't think the TMDB overview mentions a rating.
It doesn't.
But this film, Vicky Vidya Kawalala Video, will have been rated by India's Central Board of Film Certification.
Okay.
They have a whole range of categories from U for unrestricted viewing,
Okay.
all the way to A for adults only.
Gotcha.
So given, what we know about this film, the subject matter, and Shanduya's style, it will likely be somewhere in the middle.
Right.
It will appeal to a broad audience,
Yeah.
but, probably not for kids.
Yeah, maybe not a family movie night kind of film.
Exactly.
It's interesting, though, right? Because you have this comedy, but they are sort of tackling a topic that, like we said, might be a little taboo.
Definitely.
And speaking of things that make you go,
Yeah.
This runtime,
Oh, yeah.
it's listed as 2 hours and 32 minutes.
Wow.
That's a long time for any comedy, let alone a Bollywood one.
Right. It makes you wonder how they're going to fill all that time.
I know. What could they possibly pack into that runtime?
It's important to remember that Bollywood films, especially comedies, they're an experience.
Yeah.
They're a spectacle.
It's not just about the jokes.
Exactly. There's music, elaborate dance sequences, these amazing sets. It's a whole thing.
It totally is.
So a longer runtime, that could just mean we're in for some truly spectacular song and dance numbers.
Oh, for sure.
It wouldn't be a Bollywood comedy without them.
It really wouldn't. I mean, think about all those classic Bollywood movies.
Yes.
Epic dance battles and super catchy tunes that get stuck in your head for days.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Those sequences are part of what makes Bollywood so unique and so entertaining.
Totally.
They give you a little break from the dialogue and they add this whole other layer of comedy and fun to the whole thing.
For sure. It's like they're saying, get ready for this huge party, but it's on a screen.
Exactly.
Speaking of a party,
Okay.
I noticed the budget and revenue fields on TMDb are totally blank.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
Oh, that's pretty common, actually.
Really?
For films that haven't come out yet, studios often like to keep those numbers close to the vest. It helps manage expectations, you know. Nobody's comparing box office numbers before the movie is even out.
Right.
And it sort of builds a little bit of suspense, don't you think?
Oh, totally. Like, they're keeping us in suspense even when it comes to the money side of things.
Exactly.
Okay, so I have one last little detail.
Okay.
It's a small thing, but I just think it's kind of neat.
All right. I'm all ears.
Okay, so TMDb gives us the Hindi title of the film.
Oh, cool.
Believe. I will love that. I can't read Hindi, but I love that it's there.
I think it's a small touch, but it's really awesome that they're acknowledging the film's cultural roots, you know?
Yes.
And even if you don't understand the language, it's like this little window into this whole other world.
It is. It's like a little peek behind the curtain.
Yeah, and you haven't even pressed play yet.
So to recap, outrageous premise, super talented actors, a director known for pushing the comedic envelope, and a runtime that makes me think it's going to be a full-blown Bollywood spectacle.
It sounds like they're going all out for this one.
I think so, too. This whole thing really does feel like Vicky Vidya Kawawala video is walking this crazy tightrope.
I know, right?
Between, like, a fun, lighthearted comedy
Yeah.
and something that, like, makes you actually stop and think.
Right.
What do you think is going to make it or break it for audiences?
I think a lot rides on the two leads.
Yeah.
Rajkumar Rao and Tripti Dimri are both phenomenal actors.
Yeah.
But they have to sell this.
They do?
They have this huge task of like portraying this believable couple who are dealing with this incredibly awkward and potentially humiliating situation.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
If their chemistry feels even a little bit forced, I think the whole movie could fall apart.
Right. Yeah.
The audience needs to root for Vicky and Vidya, even when they're making like the worst decisions.
Yes.
Or get caught in those classic misunderstandings that lead to the big laughs.
Totally.
Shandilaya's direction here is going to be so important.
Oh, absolutely.
He needs to find that sweet spot where it's funny, but it never gets mean-spirited or exploitative.
Right. You know what's interesting to me, too?
Yeah.
We have this super bold premise.
Yeah.
But the actual plot details, they are surprisingly vague.
Yeah.
It's like they're holding back on purpose, just giving us enough to get us hooked.
Totally. It's like they're saying, here's a little taste, now go buy your ticket to see what happens.
All right. Exactly.
Classic Bollywood, honestly.
It's true, though. And on that note, speaking of things I'm dying to know,
Okay.
what kind of mayhem are we talking about after the tape gets out? Does it go viral?
Okay, yeah.
Do Vicky and Vidya, like, try to do damage control but just make it worse?
Yes.
I need details.
I know. That's what makes talking about this film so fun. We have all the pieces, right? This relatable but kind of scandalous premise, super talented actors, a director who we know likes to take risks.
Yeah. And we know it's going to be a big, fun Bollywood spectacle.
We do.
But, like, how it all comes together, that's the big mystery.
mystery.
So is Vicky Vidya Kawawala video going to be a smash hit?
I mean, it's definitely a gamble.
That's true.
But sometimes the biggest risks lead to the biggest rewards, right?
It's true.
This film, I think, has the potential to be hilarious, to make you think, maybe even be a little bit subversive.
Right.
But it still feels true to, like, the spirit of Bollywood.
I love that.
It does.
You put that perfectly.
I think so.
I am so ready to grab some popcorn and just see how this whole thing plays out.
Me too. It's not every day you get a movie that you think might make you laugh and also make you contemplate the whole digital landscape we live in.
It's a lot to unpack.
It really is.
And on that note, I think we've just about reached the end of our deep dive for today. Will Vicky Vidya Video be a comedic masterpiece? Or will it be a total flop?
Ooh, good question.
We want to hear what you think.
Yes.
Be sure to let us know your thoughts after you've had a chance to check it out.
Absolutely.
And until next time, happy watching.